Hey y'all, it's Bear. It's time for some more camp cooking. And let's see, this week we're gonna go international. Last year I did Shakshuka, which is some tomatoes with some poached eggs in the tomatoes and seasoning, popular in Africa, Middle East. And I found out that tomatoes and eggs are something all over the world. So this is Chinese tomato and eggs this week. And the things you need for it are eggs, tomatoes, and some oil. There's some other stuff, but all that's optional. It's all according to what people grew up eating, really. So I'll show you the other optional add-ins, and I'm gonna keep it really simple today because I've never eaten it. And I wanna try it from the base, and then I'll decide what kinds of things I'd like to add. Hey y'all, look here. Before we get started, I wanna show off this awesome Christmas present that Gummy Bear got me. She found me my very own Papa Bear mug. See there, bear paw. I've got some black coffee in it. It's hot. That's the proper way to drink coffee, but we'll talk about that some other time. Isn't that awesome? I love my Gummy Bear. All right, let's cook. All right, y'all. So I looked at a whole handful of videos about the Chinese tomato and eggs, also called Hong Kong tomato and eggs. And the basics I got for it was you're gonna cook your tomatoes and eggs separately and then combine. You're gonna cook each of them in some oil. Then after that, everything is up to whatever you grew up doing. It's kind of funny. I watched probably 8 videos and there was a different nuance to every single video as to how they cook their tomato and eggs. Some people cook the tomatoes first, some people cook the eggs first. I didn't see anybody cook them together initially. Some people say to put the eggs in and let them sit, and some people say to start mixing them around right away. So here are the things I saw people adding to their tomatoes and eggs. Some of them used green onions, and again, some people put these in at the beginning, some people added them at the end. I saw people using ketchup to sweeten the tomatoes, garlic, sugar, salt, and soy sauce. And some people used a combination of these, some people used none of them, and so it's kind of up to you and your taste and how you grew up eating it in China. I saw one person that diced up one of their tomatoes really fine and cooked it down to almost a sauce, and then they added their second tomato in big chunks towards the end. So they had some saucy and some big chunks. You know, it's tomato and eggs, and all this is up to you to experiment with the best way you like it. All right, I'm gonna use my Victorinox Tinker today to cook with. Love this little pocket knife, it's one of my favorites. Give myself a quick chop on some of these green onions. Now a lot of times in Chinese cooking, they'll take and put the white parts in early and cook that onion flavor into the oil and then add the green parts at the end. One egg. Two eggs. And then we take our handy dandy camp whisk. You do own a whisk to take to camp, don't you? I think this one came from Pampered Chef, but I can't find it on their site. You could just use a couple sticks in the woods. The Chinese people scramble their eggs with chopsticks. It works. And so far, the only thing that I've seen that's truly important is to cut out this part. Other than that, most people cut them in wedges, but I've seen people just chunk them up also. And I've seen people finely dice them. You cut your tomatoes the way you want. I guess we'll do the wedges. I saw one person who took the time to peel their tomatoes, but most people just seem to leave the skin on. You know, I'm wondering, after we did this, if I can use the Harmony House tomato, some freeze-dried or some dried chives, and some Ova Easy eggs to do this on the trail. So we're going to do it fresh today, and I think I'm going to come back in a week or two and we're going to do it with all the dehydrated ingredients and compare it. Fire's on. Another thing that I saw in common is they used a pretty hearty amount of oil. They weren't just lubricating the bottom of their pan. Now, something that made sense to me was they wanted those eggs to puff up in that oil. You see the way those are puffing up? I think that's part of why they use so much oil. And what that puffiness is going to do, that puffiness is going to give some place for the tomatoes to absorb. At least this is what I'm thinking in the videos, from the videos that I've seen. We want that to get like 95% done, and then we're going to remove it and add the tomato. And you should have some brown bits and some yellow bits. I think I'm going to go ahead and add a touch of salt. What is that? Maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon? I'm not going to do any soy sauce though. I would, yeah, that's good. That's just going to help draw out some of the moisture. Get some flavor action going. You know, I just thought of one other thing I saw done with this. I saw somebody take and add a little bit of water or soup stock to this, and then use a cornstarch slurry to thicken the sauce. There we go. Now we're starting to get a little sauce. The idea is that tomato juice is going to absorb into the eggs. Alright, I've almost got the stove cut off now. And I'm just going to give this like a minute to absorb into the eggs. And look, it's wet enough, the cleanup's going to be little to none. Get my green onion in. There we go, y'all. Tomatoes and eggs and a little rice on the side. Now, before I dig in, I'm just curious, have any of y'all had any luck finding farm fresh eggs that don't require refrigeration that you can take to camp with you? Alright, we got the Yuko set today. Man, that's my new favorite camp eating tools here, I'll tell you. Let's see, should we get a little bit of everything? A little bit of rice, a little bit of tomato, egg, some green onion. Come here, green onion. Ah, need some green onion. Oh man, y'all, this is really good. I can see why this came off almost as a comfort food to me when I was watching people cook it. You should try this, and we'll see you on the trail.